Okay, since apparently this is not something that we choose to include in geometry courses in some places, I need to demonstrate the use of compass and straight edge and relate this to the proof that we've just done that underlies the use of compass and straight edge. So the task here is going to be construct a midpoint, and by this I mean midpoint between the points A and B, the point that's exactly halfway between. Now, of course, we can't construct anything exactly, but we construct them with a compass. Here's a compass. Should be a familiar instrument, and here's a pretty good straight edge, just a metal construction strap. Okay, now I want to construct the point, and again, by construction I mean a construction which, if done with complete accuracy, would give you the exact midpoint. So we want to construct midpoint between these points, and I'll just show you how it's done, and then we'll discuss why this works. Now I hope this works, because this chalk is kind of stuck on the point of the compass, but I've just used the compass to draw the arcs of two circles. Now I could have continued around and used the compass to construct a complete circle, and the same over here, but I only constructed the part that I really needed. And now I'm going to as accurately as I can with what I've got, construct a line through the points of intersection of those two circles. Now this should be familiar to you from the proof that we just did. Remember, these circles could be extended, and if they were, we would have the same picture that we had in that proof. And by virtue of what we've proven, if we sketch the line segment from A to B, the segment that I've sketched here has to be perpendicular to the line from A to B, and it has to be the midpoint. So, in the style of the old cartographers, people who do the old maps, that had maps of the world, and there were places they were uncertain about, and they would have a place on there, some of them would say, "Here be monsters." Well, no monster, but here be midpoint. Okay, so here's the midpoint of the segment between A and B. And I could say midpoint of segment AB, or the line or the point that's exactly halfway between A and B. Okay, and we also get the perpendicular bisector. So here's the perpendicular bisector of the segment AB. Okay, that's one thing we can do with a compass and straight edge. Now, a problem that's going to be almost immediately applicable to the constructions that we're going to do to construct graphs of power and exponential functions, and you don't need to know what I mean by that, although you might, is going to be to extend a line segment by a given proportion. Now in this case, we're going to extend a line segment 50%. So here's our line segment. How will we extend this line segment 50%? Well, that's really pretty simple. First, we simply bisect the segment. I hope that piece of chalk stays on there. And then we use the compass, and we shorten it a little bit so that a little further, so that the chalk will mark a distance from this end to the midpoint. Okay, well, that's 50% of the length of the line. Now we go out to this end of the line segment and we mark a point. And now we have a segment that's 50% longer than the original. So here's the original segment. Original segment goes from here to here, and now the segment 50% longer goes from here to here. Now, another useful thing that we can do is, can we create a segment 50% longer somewhere else? And can we do it in such a way that that segment is parallel to the original segment? Okay, so I'm going to pose that as kind of a question for you to think about. Let's say construct a segment %50 longer parallel to the original. Okay, and I might even say starting at any given point. Can we do that? Another question. Can we construct a segment %25 longer? Okay. How about 125% longer? What about 75% longer? Now, I'm going to claim that we can do all these things, and I'm actually going to show you how to do at least some of them. But I'm going to ask you to think about it before you watch me do it, and see if you can devise a strategy for doing these things.